Hi guys, what's up? It's me again. I guess you noticed from the title of this video, I'm not doing a gaming video, I'm actually doing an art video. If anyone knows me, I love to do art. I'm like a little old lady inside. I'm like a little old lady. I love to do crochet, I love to do lots of little crafts. I don't know why, it just is so peaceful for me. I've developed a lot of hobbies as an only child, and those hobbies just happen to be artsy stuff. As you can see by my painting, you know I'm an art person. Anyway, today I'm going to be doing a time-lapse of one of my recent drawings, and actually it's Brawlhalla fan art, you know, because I want to keep that theme going. I posted this on Twitter and it blew up. I mean, for me it blew up. It really blew up on Twitter. And so I wanted to give you guys a little glimpse into the process. I'm not going to actually draw and record at the same time. That is just too much work for me. So this is more of like a reaction of my drawing process. It gets a little weird sometimes, I think. So please bear with me. I'm not used to showing people how to draw. I like to show the end product. I never like to show the process. Okay, this feels like this is going to be a little cringy for me. See, I'm starting off with the face. I had to redo it because I had to actually look at a guy's face because I don't know how to draw dudes. I'm used to drawing women most of the time. I actually feel like this is a lot easier than I expected to draw a guy. I mean, look at that beard. It's actually kind of nice when you don't have to draw like half the face. And look at that, I gave him that pop-up collar too. Just for a second. And then I also tried to draw a body for him because you can't just be a head. Oh snap. Oh my god. I didn't realize I made him this beefy. I kind of imagined him as a muscly dude. I just didn't think he would be this muscly. Besides, I ended up kind of cutting that out anyway. You'll see in a sec. Kind of cut it out like the body anyway. I just end up starting to I just fill in the general base with a darker color, so it kind of adds as like the shadow. And then I kind of add some of those lighter colors in. Here's a good tip: do not add the actual colors from the reference, because if you use those real colors, it's gonna look so bright. It's not gonna look realistic. You gotta kind of use like a little bit darker versions. I actually took the base colors from the shades of the Bödvar picture that I used because the other colors were too bright. You see here, I'm kind of getting in my general light areas. I figured out where the light was going to come from, kind of from the top right. I always do top right or top left when I try to add lighting, because that's like the default lighting I have for most of my portraits. I don't think I can do from below or maybe from the side, but I typically do from the top left or right. And then because I love the shading, right here, I love the shading. I love how I added the highlights. And then one thing too is that you gotta be aware of how the sketch affects the painting, because sometimes it looks really good with the sketch on top, and then I take it off and then it looks really weird, and I'm like, oh snap, I should fix this. And I gave him that little flame thing over here. I thought that was pretty cool to kind of match his official art thing with the bear in the background. I was really happy with how that beard turned out. I didn't think I was going to do that good with that beard. But if you think of hair in blocks, not as individual strands, you got to think of it in blocks. It actually is a lot easier to draw. And I thought it was really fun drawing the beard. It was pretty cool not having to draw half the face, like I said before. And the horns too. Oh my god, I felt like I was so on point with those horns. The only thing I hate is that headband part, because it kind of looks a little wonky if you kind of flip it over, because I like to flip through things. So that was it. Yeah, I'm not well. Aside from the headband thing, because people don't notice your mistakes unless you point them out, and I'm gonna point it out just because. Don't copy my mistakes. This is more of a quick drawing. I didn't want it to be going on too long, trying to do all the fine details and stuff. I wanted to really just capture Bödvar. Like I said before, I posted this on Twitter. and for me it just blew up. I thought it was so amazing. This is like the most anyone has ever looked at my art. And I wanted to show you guys how I do it. Just a little bit. I will finish up with Bödvar, and then next we're going to move on to Isaiah, because this is just a few minutes. I'm going to add Isaiah in right now too. So let's take a look at Isaiah. Okay, so you can see here, I know you guys can't really see that picture that well of Isaiah, but it's basically Isaiah on the podium with the current Battle Pass theme, the synthwave. I know it's a sucky picture, but I was able to see it on my screen. I know you guys can't see it on yours. And right here, I know I'm drawing itty bitty right now. That's just because I kind of wanted to do a quick sketch kind of thumbnail thing. I didn't want to get it into too detail, and I draw small if I don't want it to do too much detail, because that kind of prevents you from doing a lot of detail when you draw tiny. So yeah, I'm trying to grasp like his facial expression and his body position, because that's what I look for. Even though I crop out some of this stuff, you got to really know how to position everything so it looks nice when you actually paint it in and stuff. Because sometimes you won't see everything, but you can still see the flow, and if the flow doesn't look right, you're gonna notice. I noticed, definitely. I also enlarged it a little bit over here. I did try to capture that, like, he's got his pistol ready to load, you know, he's locked and loaded. Try to catch some of that attitude that's also in his face. It's kind of weird, because again, I said I'm not used to drawing dudes, so I had to figure out, you know, how does his face look? How do I make it look not like a woman? Because I'm so used to drawing women. And then also, how do I change, you know, how do I do the body shape? And I try to give him like a little bit of muscle, like he works out some, but he's not like super beefy. Not like Bödvar. I mean, Bödvar way too beefy. I also tried to get in the aspects of his outfit. One thing that is really hard about drawing these characters is the freaking outfit. Like, sometimes you can't really see some of the details. Their heads are so big. And yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out exactly the details of their clothing, especially because sometimes it has to be simplified for the game. So I kind of just tried to get the general idea of his clothes first, and then kind of refine it a little bit. This one wasn't even a finished piece either. I kind of just did more like a steady. It's more like a steady. Especially with that hair. That hair was getting to me a little bit. I was like, this is some weird hair, because I had to balance it. I had to make it symmetrical, and it's kind of hard to make it symmetrical when you're doing it from the side. And I actually did like his facial hair. It's pretty cool. I never knew how to do fade. I've seen like stubble and like the 5 o'clock shadow. Those always seem really hard to me, because you kind of have to get that almost prickly or kind of like shaded look, but without making it look like you're just drawing a bunch of dots and lines on there. Sometimes that's hard for me. I really do love how his gun turned out. I had to do a little finessing to get it into that angle, because I'm not used to drawing guns, and I'm not used to drawing guns at angles. And also the hand positions. I love drawing hands. So another good artist tip too is to kind of omit some of those details in the shadow. You don't really want to get too detailed when you're doing shading. Mostly with the lighter areas. As you can see, I really did a lot of detail on his face, because there's a lot of emphasis on his face. I love to draw faces. You can see it kind of finished up here. I did add his little earpiece. I thought that was a great little tidbit in there. I tried to also kind of note some of the colors in there so I didn't lose my colors. I like to have the colors just ready there, like a little palette on the layer, so I'm not missing the colors, because if you constantly color pick, and you kind of lose the original color, and I like to keep the original color. I really do like how this turned out. I just especially like the face. I'm just gushing over it, because guys were super hard for me. I didn't even attempt to draw a guy until like last week. I had tried drawing guys before, but it's been years since I've done it. and I really am surprised at how this turned out. I think if you're not good at something, looking at references is a really handy idea. It works so much better when you have a reference on hand, because you can get a better general idea of what's going on rather than trying to imagine it yourself, because when you imagine it, it doesn't have the same look as when you look at a real life reference. Sometimes people can do that from imagination. That's probably because they probably practiced enough to do that. But when you're starting out and you really don't know how the structure works, it's better to just look up a reference. That's just my tip. So I hope you guys enjoyed looking at this. I know I'm a little nervous, I'm a little anxious right now, sharing my art process with this. I know I'm rambling on about everything. That's the only way I can keep calm. It's literally the only way I'm like not falling apart right now. So I hope to bring you guys more drawings in the future. I really want to keep up this trend with Brawlhalla. I'm feeling brave. I said this to someone because they asked me if I was gonna draw some more characters, and I said I was gonna feel brave and I was gonna try to draw everyone. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but I want to at least attempt it. I want to try to get through as many characters as possible. I'm not saying that it's gonna be all consistent. I'm not gonna be able to draw everyone, you know, consistently, like, oh, I'm gonna post this on this day. But I will try to bring you more over time. Hopefully you guys will like it. Hopefully more people will see my art, because apparently, I don't know how, this fan art is, I don't know why people like the fan art and like the 2-hour studies rather than all of the finished original work that I have. But that's just how the internet works, I guess. Well, I'll try to bring you guys some more things later. I will see you in the next video.